I reminisce. Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Kenlo back at it again, and today we have my guy, your guy, the city's guy, Adrian Poitier. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy you had me here. I know it's like so weird because we was just busting it up, but for real, I appreciate being here though.
No problem.
Because I feel like what you're doing is groundwork for the city. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of people in the city need to see something like this. They need to see everybody that's creatively working connecting. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. So let's start with your photography. Tell us how you got started and what's your inspiration behind it.
Wow. I first got started in photography in 2016. I was doing a lot of intern work for House of 99.
Okay.
So if you know who House of 99 is, and you know like Charlie Heat, you know Sean Smith at the time.
Okay.
He was with House of 99 as well. This is a couple artists over there, but I was working closely with them. And basically what happened was my best friend at the time is Aunt Bill, of course. And we were just hanging out all the time, doing a lot of work for him. And it got to a point where we had to go to South by Southwest in 2016 in March of 2016. And when we got down there, he was just like, yo, I need a big favor. Mind you, I had drove my car like halfway across the country. I had a Chrysler 200 at the time, 2015 John. And no, yeah, 2015, 2016. I can't remember. It was whatever the newest one was at the time. Drove across the country to Texas. And when we got to Texas, he asked me, he was like, yo, can you start taking my pictures for me? I had never like done anything past like a video production class in high school, you know, like something you gotta do just to pass.
Right.
So I was like, I mean, well, I'm gonna say no, like we gotta you need the content. Content is necessary. So I picked up the camera in 2016. South by Southwest was the first time I started shooting, and I just never looked back.
So ever since then, like, where would you say your inspiration comes from? How did you start developing more, getting better at your craft?
Movies, definitely movies. I'm a movie buff. I'm a filmmaker as well. So understanding framing and understanding pictures and understanding how like a movie is literally a bunch of images moving at once.
That's right.
So knowing that really like made it, I'm not gonna say easier, but more capable of me to adapt to learning something new. Because at the time I was in college running track, you know, like I wasn't really thinking about anything after except like law school or something like that because I was a poli-sci major.
Okay. So with photography, would you say like as you started developing more, did you say that the process got harder, easier, or would you say that you just got better with time?
Definitely got better with time.
Okay.
I got better with time because I took a lot of obstacles and I didn't let them stay in my way.
That's what's
like it was like, you know, things get rough when you really trying to be a creative out here and you really figuring out how to move. So it was at one point I started out shooting on a Canon 6D. Okay. If you know like what a Canon 6D is, you know like what kind of body that is. It's really like a really good body to start with, and all the lenses that I started out with, I was basically spoiled. Like I got spoiled out the gate, and I didn't realize that because I didn't know much about anything. I had to do my research. So I had to learn, I had to research. Learning and researching brought me to an understanding that, okay, I'm actually like really good right now for what I'm able to do and produce, but I can always get better. Then things just went awry with the camera that I was using at the time. So my peoples, I was using their camera. They had to sell their camera. Okay. So after they sold their camera, I was basically without a camera. So I started shooting on this Nikon that my friend had. It was a Nikon D3100 entry-level camera. Definitely like, if you notice anything about what I'm talking about, it's basically like I went from here to like here with like what I was shooting with. So I gotta say that I had to get better with time because I went from shooting with like a Lamborghini to a Prius.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You had to, if you're a race car driver, you ain't whipping the Prius like you was whipping the Lamb or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So I learned a lot, and through learning like colors, lighting, things like that, it made it seem as though my work didn't miss a beat.
Okay.
So
that's what's up. So what kind of events do you actually love to shoot? Because, you know, I see you do like music events, I see you do like, you know, parties sometimes, or just networking events as usual. So, like, what's your favorite?
my favorite type of event to shoot, besides like the things that I love to do, like the things that I just love to shoot, like things I love to shoot is like portraits and human interaction.
That's what's up.
But outside of that, I would definitely have to say festivals. I'm starting to really get into the festival scene, and I'm starting to learn like I really appreciate the art of what goes into making a festival, and like how much goes into like the background and how to produce it. So being able to capture that to develop a relationship between the viewers who can't make it there is really special to me. So I like that. Like people see it and be like, dang, I wish I could have been there.
Right.
All because of the image that they saw. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I definitely dig that. That's pretty dope. You know, I do love your photography, by the way.
Thank you.
Definitely decent. So let's get into the podcast. Tell us about your podcast and how you got, you know, a part of that and the media as well.
Right. So podcast, well, media. I can start with media.
Okay.
Media in high school, I was on the morning news. I was
Oh,
an
okay.
anchor on the morning news. I went to this high school in Runnymede, New Jersey. It's called Triton Regional High School. And I went there and I started doing that just based off the fact that I love public speaking. I was in like public speaking and debate classes, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I might as well like talk all the time. People see me all the time anyways. So I started doing the media thing through being a news anchor. So then fast forward now to the podcast. Basically what the podcast was, me and my boy Stunt, we were having a conversation one day and he was like, yo, I'm about to start a podcast. And I was like, yo, you definitely should do that, and I'm definitely about to be on there.
That's what's up.
And he was like, no, I'm dead serious. And I was like, no, I'm dead serious. He was like, no, I'm dead serious, because every time I tell somebody I'm about to start a podcast, it don't start until whatever the case may be, and I'm dead serious. Like, this is how I'm about to get it done. So he told me him and Justin at the time were already doing one, but it wasn't how they wanted it to be. So he had to revamp the idea. So when he revamped the idea, he presented it to me. I was like, so you just want to talk about nothing?
I feel that.
Let's do it. Because there's a bunch of nothing out here
Right.
anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, things that we spending our time on daily, it ain't about nothing.
Right.
It's like, it's way more important things in the world, but people want to listen to it. Why not talk
Why
about
not?
it?
Right.
Why not talk about it?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, would you say that you could see yourself getting, well, not bigger, but you could see yourself developing more in media and photography at once, or like would you put it on the like different realms of each?
I think just more people are becoming aware of who I am.
Okay.
More people are becoming aware of who I am, putting a face to the name. For a while, I was kind of like this unknown person where everybody would see my work, but they really didn't know who I was, because if you know like Ant's music and you know who Ant Bill is, you knew like for a long time the only photographer's work that he was posting was mine. And then it got to a point where it started like becoming how should I say? So people basically understanding that I was working with him kind of flocked towards me. So
Okay.
then it kind of grew into like I started shooting Novum's events, and when I started shooting Novum's events, that's when more people started figuring out who I was. And I used to be at like First Friday all the time, literally taking pictures of everybody and like not ignoring people, and then getting people their pictures next day. So I feel
Wow.
like the one thing that separated me from a lot of other people was I was taking at least like 800, 900 pictures and then sending them out to everybody that I could find. And I was like online, like, oh, I know this.
900?
Yeah,
How was that process though? Like getting 900? Like even was that like with editing too?
yeah.
900? That's like the
Yeah.
first time I've ever heard this. So like, how was that process for you? Like doing that, editing, and then sending those same 900 pictures?
Bro, a lot of weed.
I
A
feel
lot of
that
weed.
though. I do feel
And
that.
at the time, I was drinking hard liquor, so it was
Okay.
like I was coming back from the event, like tore up, but
Right.
smoking and then just like getting to it, waking up. But then you know what I'm saying? It's times where you don't get it done on
Right.
the time that you expect to, but just knowing that I have a 48-hour window before somebody stops caring about that image.
Right. Okay.
So it's just like knowing that, and it's like, all right.